Hey, good afternoon, and welcome to Everyday Talk 24/7. As you can see, I've got kind of a special treat today. Kirk and I have been hanging out the last couple of days, and thought it might be interesting for him just to ask some questions that maybe you want to ask, or he wants to ask. So, Kirk, thanks for being here.
My pleasure. I'm so excited to be here with you, Jay. Some of you may look to Jay as a well of wisdom that you draw from, like I do, and I like to refer to him as my personal Gandalf, who can give me wisdom along this journey of faith. So, for my first question, Jay, can God make a rock so big he can't lift it? I'm kidding. I love to just have a sense of humor with Jay.
I have an answer for that.
Do you really?
Yeah, no.
No, he can't.
No.
He can't.
No.
Is it why how is there something God cannot do?
Because it's a contradiction of who he is. He cannot contradict who he is.
Okay. All right. I stand humbled. I actually do have some important questions. So Jay and I have been hanging out a little bit and just talking about the everyday issues of life and parenting and marriage and the fun nuances of theology, but all of this really only makes sense if it's leading us to a life of worship. And so we were talking about life is worship, and we were talking about this idea that sometimes we have conversations like between you and me right now that have everything to do with the third person in the room, but we ignore the presence of God. Amen. Who is with us.
Right.
So can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, we have this theology where we say God is everything, God is everywhere, God is wonderful, he's all powerful, but we ignore the personal aspect that he is always with us. You know, we're coming up on Christmas time, right? One of my favorite Christmas hymns is O Come, Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Emmanuel means God with us. That's the beauty of what Christ has done. So what that means is turn it around. That means that God is never not with me. He is always here. And so, you know, the Bible tells us he gives me my next breath. You know, Psalm 109:39 says that he knows my thoughts even before I have them, that he hems me in, that he goes before me and after me. Mm-hmm. Even if something rotten happens to me, it's not because God was on coffee break. It's because it's something in his plan that he gives me the opportunity to glorify him, to make him special in that incident. So what you're saying is then, you and I are having a conversation. Let's pick the weather. The weather's awful. I can't do the things I want to do today.
Yeah.
You know, like today's a gorgeous day, but let's say you and I had planned to go hiking today. Well, you would hike and I would wash, but you know, you get the idea. And this massive thunderstorm comes, and we're all upset about it.
Right, ruined our plans.
Yeah, it's all trash. Well, who do you think sent the thunderstorm? Is it random? It's God himself bringing that thunderstorm. He's brought that to me. We have a flat tire. What blankety blank luck?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of things wrong with that statement. Blankety blank is not the worst of them. Luck is the worst of them. But, you know, God has planned all that so that I would respond in a way, not that I'm thrilled that I had a flat tire, but I have the opportunity at that moment to trust God, to do the things that are right, not to lose it, not to go on crazy time in front of my children. Oh, we're going to be late. I can't be late. You know, we're going to miss this appointment, that appointment, whatever. And then when our child misses something, they lose a toy and they get all upset. Just calm down, sweetheart. We'll find your toy. Well, what have you modeled for them? You just had a Donald Duck moment a few minutes ago when your tire was flat or you lost your keys or whatever the deal is. Mm. And how have we represented God in that moment? The reality is God is right there with us. He is holding my hand. The temple of God, Kirk, is where? Right here, brother. Mm. You know, and he is doing all these things for my good and not my good as Jay planned my good, but for my good so that I am living in sync in praise with him and honoring him. And in this moment of darkness for me, I know that God is there. In this moment of, the mundane for me, we could be upset right now if this airplane is flying over us and messing up the sound.
I was just thinking that same thing. God's giving us an object lesson as we speak.
Yeah. That's not an unplanned moment. So we have all these things that are before us. That what we call little things, there are no little things. But all part of the God working out so that we will respond to him.
This is so important. From my perspective, as somebody who produces documentaries and movies and live events,
and good ones, by the way.
Oh, thank you. He's being kind. I plan things to happen in a certain way, according to a certain timing, to achieve a positive result. And if anything gets in the way and fouls that up, that is anathema to me. And I do everything I can to mitigate those types of problems. Well, that may work out fine when it comes to making movies, where you can edit things later and fix things and go to take two and try again. But what do you do when things mess up a relationship that's important to you? I can think of my kids having prayed and prayed, oh God, bring me the right person, the right spouse, and then something happens that interrupts their plan or their dream, and it's like, God, where were you? You bailed on me. You left me out in the cold, and everything now is going the wrong direction, and I can't get back. I guess you don't love me. Well, that's just a wrong understanding.
Yeah, it is.
Because we're not in charge of writing the script in the first place.
Yeah. Which
is hard for a lot of us to understand.
And you see, the illustration you just gave, you're looking at the situation with your children, right? And things not going right? And how are we going to fix this? We lose sight of the fact that you and I go off the rails all the time. And God is right there with us. And he doesn't kick us out to the outhouse. He draws us lovingly back. Even the discipline that is there, it's a loving fatherly discipline drawing us back to trust him.
Yeah.
And as we see that he's caring for us, then I look at that child of mine who'd be making, in my mind, might be making, a horrific mistake, right?
Yeah.
God hasn't gone anywhere.
No.
God is able to bring them back and help them to see, but they're not gonna get that road back, at least for me, if I'm coming at them, your life is a disaster.
Right.
That if you do this, my life is over. Now I'm making it all about me as a parent. But if I can see that I need to have a heart of compassion, I need to remember what David said in Psalm 103, that God doesn't treat me as my sins deserve. Too many of his parents want to treat our children as we think their sins deserve. So I've got this stupid kid that I poured my life into, and now they're making this decision, which is exactly the opposite of what I think they should be, and I'm all hurt and offended. What's the problem there? I've lost any sense of compassion for that child, and now I'm the one that's hurt. Under the guise of supposedly them being hurt. So if I'm going to be that refuge for them, which you all have heard me say before, if I'm going to be that refuge, then they have an opportunity to come back to me. But if all I'm doing is letting them know, I told you this would happen, I've driven a wedge that just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
But if I have compassion for them, and they know that they have a safe place to return to me, and they know that Dad is not going to lose it, that he's going to care for me, then we have an opportunity to maybe turn that thing around.
Right.
But I'm for sure not going to do it if, to use your brilliant metaphor, if they've messed up my script. How could you do this to the perfect plan I've provided for your life?
Right.
That child's
not going to work.
That child's not going to come running back to you.
And you guys, I want to just say that I am still trying to learn these things. That's why I'm here with this guy. I am I am a father, I'm a husband, I'm 53 years old, I'm looking forward to grandkids one day, and I want to be able to better understand that all of life is worship, and that there's no script that I can write, that God does not have the right to interrupt and rewrite according to what he knows is best for me, for my family, and ultimately to bring him glory.
Amen.
And he's the better script writer. So
as opposed to me being a better script writer.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. How insane is that?
It is, but it's so easy for us to get frustrated with our circumstances and situations, whether it's the weather or somebody doesn't appreciate us or a health problem or a financial problem. We have to say, these things are what God has for us.
Amen.
They didn't take him by surprise like they took us by surprise. In fact, he knew these things were coming and he prepared us for them. Now our task is to respond according to his word and grow through the circumstance.
Yeah. And to see that he is being faithful to me.
That's right. This is not God on a coffee break, as you like to say. This is God being faithful to me.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Well, thanks for letting me be on your Everyday Talk 24/7 with you today.
No, hey, folks, this is just I enjoy Kirk so much, and the encouragement he's been to me, and I know many of you are encouraged by what he's about. So. Yeah, it's just a blessed time. Maybe we'll get another one of these in, but thanks again for being here.
Yeah, hope to see you again.
Yeah, and Lord willing, talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you for watching. May God richly bless you as you seek to live for His glory.